Okay, I'm going to show you how we work on recall in a dog. This is Grover. He's just over 4 months old, almost 5 months old now, and he is really doing well. But here's how you could take any dog and get them to be rock solid with recall. So the first step we do is you start with some high value treats. What I have here is actually a little bit of leftover pot roast, so steak basically, and it's what we call a high value treat. It's not that it's how much it costs you, it's how much does the dog value the treat. A cracker type treat is almost always a low value treat to a dog, but meat or even cheese is usually a pretty good one, but deli meat, leftovers, a little chicken is a high value to a dog. They will do just about anything to be able to get some of that. So he can kind of smell this, I can tell, but I'm just going to walk around, pretend like, you know, we're not doing anything, and I'm going to wait for him to get distracted doing his own thing, as dogs do, and I'm working with him in an environment right now that is what I consider low distraction. We're not practicing in the middle of a city. I don't have tons of other dogs around or anything like that. It's a low distraction scenario, and it's key to practice starting in those kinds of environments. Even in your living room is great. You can have him be across the room, you get out some treats, wait till he's not looking, and then you work on the recall, the come command. So I'm gonna wait till he goes a little bit off ways here, and you're gonna notice two things. I'm gonna call his name. We're gonna first get his attention, and then, only then, am I gonna give the command. So the key is, if you just start shouting commands and you don't have the dog's attention, they're just literally not hearing it. So he's like, right now he's in a high distraction runaway. I'm not gonna try it right now. I'm gonna wait till I think he's likely to see me. Grover, come. Yes, good boy. Yeah, look at that. He is right there. Now, he has gotten one of the highest value treats ever. Nice positive experience, petting. Yeah, good boy. Give him some high-pitched talking here, and he's going to remember that. He's not going to forget, but it takes repetitions to sort of condition and ingrain this into a dog. So that was one little experience. He knows. He now thinks, oh, man, he's got the treats. But I'm not just going to keep on popping treats for no reason. I'm going to do this again. So I'm going to go for a little walk and just keep it positive. We're not using, a punishment system. You don't have to. The best thing to do is to make this dog excited to work with you. If they're not hungry, sometimes they can be a little less focused and wanting to work. Sometimes you skip a meal and then you work with treats. Let them work for food. You can really motivate a dog that way. But I'm going to do the same thing again. I'm going to have my little bit of steak treats ready. I like using a high value treat like the steak because, especially with the come command, because it's so important for their safety. You don't want to practice the come command for the first time when, you need it, like in traffic or something like that, when there's a danger to themselves or others, or they're highly distracted, like chasing a squirrel or a ball out on the road. They will be able to do the command in those kinds of scenarios with high distractions if they have been, solidly conditioned and have been practicing in times when they don't have those distractions. So I'm going to let him run around here a bit. I'm going to wait till he's kind of off in the distance. He does naturally tend to stay with me. Of course, he'll look at you, and if he sees you digging in the treat bag, he might want to stick a little closer. But the idea is I want to wait till he's off. So here we go, he's off. I get out a treat, and I'm going to call his name when he's just running around. Grover. No. Dogs anticipate. They know it's coming. I don't want to only just make it look good. I do like that he anticipates, but I'm not trying to get him to anticipate. And so I'm going to try to find a moment here. And he's not exactly thinking the treat's coming to him any moment here. Great off leash, though. He loves to stick with you. in the distance. Part of the problem is he smells these treats, so he's hanging pretty close to them. I love he's got good eye contact, really checks in, he's looking to you, he's not just on his own program. I think if I stop walking around and just act like I'm just kind of not going anywhere, gotta believe eventually he would just sort of wander and want to do his own thing. Come on, let's go. Actually, if I walk up by everybody else here, he might get distracted enough because he loves these other people here. Still working on the flower field. I bet you once he gets close enough to them, he's going to want to get distracted and hang out. And then I will attempt to call him from a little bit of distraction. Grover, come. Yes, good boy. Yes, good boy. Good boy. Yes, good boy. Good boy. Good. He's excited. Tail wagging. He loves working for the stick. Okay, let's go. So you do that. You do some repetitions. You practice this on a regular basis, but you get ready to have the treats on hand. And the key is don't overuse the word, the command. It'll lose its value. If you just keeps yelling, come, 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 you know, he's just going to hear noise and it won't be as effective. So you want to make sure that if you use that command, you're very likely, very certain that he is probably going to come. Grover! Grover! Come! Yes! Good boy. You'll notice I did not give the command until I saw that he was looking at me, because I don't want to set him up for failure. Good boy. Good boy. I waited till he actually looked at me. Now, as this gets practiced more and more, what happens is he'll respond to that word like almost like magic. It will be so enticing because he knows that there's such a good reward coming at the end of it that you will be able to use it in a high distraction environment when, it counts, so to speak. You could be running through traffic, you could be chasing a squirrel, something else. You can call his name, say come, and he's gonna come run, and he heard that just like I said it. So he heard me say it. I wasn't really trying to call him over, but he did hear me say it, and I'm gonna reward that. Maybe. Grover, come. Come. Yes. Good boy. So excited. So excited. And, part of the thing is when we say that come command, I don't say it like, you got tone of voice, body language. I also squat down just a little bit when I tell him to come because it's very inviting to a dog naturally when you see somebody squat down. So all those things combined, after a while, I'll try to make sure he responds to come without me squatting down. He'll be able to come when called if I'm sitting on a picnic table or something. So the dogs look at the whole thing, the body language, what you're doing. Your tone of voice is hugely important when giving a command. So I want to ramp up that excitement, and I want the come command to be like, come on, let's go, very exciting. Whereas like sit, down, stay, those sound very calming. Now let's see if I can call him. This is a distraction. We're going to see if I can call him off of this. Grover! I'll wait till he looks at me. Grover, come! Yes! Good boy. high distraction environment, no problem. And we give him the reward. We don't withhold that treat while we're training. It's going to come a time when he's not going to always get treats. Just the petting and the playing and the praise is going to be enough for him. But dogs need a payday if you want them to keep on working. Yeah, you do good. Do good. Yes, good boy. Perfect. Great session. That's what it takes. You do that again and again and again. And then, you know, they say it takes about 400 repetitions or so for a dog to do something before it becomes conditioned. And once they got it locked in, so to speak, you know, a lot of time could go by and he's not going to forget what that word means. But a lot of training is somewhat use it or lose it. If you don't practice on a regular basis, there may come a time when he just thinks something else is more enticing. So you got to keep on practicing these basic obedience things, you know, sit down, stay. They're very common. We use them all the time. And you don't, you know, anytime you go outside, pretty much, there'd be an opportunity to practice recall, practice sitting, practice doing a stay. All these things to keep a dog under control and so that they, you know, are reliable for you when you need it. That's the basics of teaching a dog how to come when called. Get out the high-value treats, practice in a low distraction environment, and the more repetitions, the better. Don't forget to change up the time, the place, the manner, your body language. Make it look a little different after he's got it down one way. You'd be surprised at how many things a dog looks at when trying to follow a cue. You know, it can be the way you're standing. You know, you can also, you know, after a while, I can just squat down and the dog thinks that means come. I don't have to even say the word because that is just so often anyway. I do that motion when I'm trying to get a dog to come when called. But yeah, the verbal command is the key. You want a dog that's going to be safe, a dog that comes to you every time, and that's the way to get there. And now it's just more practicing again and again. And then we can start trying this in a little more populated areas, go into parks and things like that. And I would even, you know, in a very controlled environment, you know, in a more urban setting, even get a dog to do a sit, down, stay, come when called. But that's only when I feel much more confident in their skill set and ability.